Let me ask you something. When was the last time you went looking for a product to buy? And I mean actually searched for it, typed it into Google, opened a website, clicked through pages. For most people watching this, that behavior is changing or has already changed because increasingly the product is finding you in your reel, in your feed, via someone you follow, via someone you trust. A creator holds up a skincare bottle at 11 p.m. You've never heard of the brand, but you've been following this person for 2 years. You trust her, and somewhere between the demo and the discount code, you've added it to your cart. That moment right there, that's not just content, that's commerce. And in 2026, that moment is happening millions of times a day across India. Welcome to Vishal's at Astra. Today we are getting into social and video commerce, where it actually stands in India right now, how personalization works in a world of reels and creators, and more importantly, what brands and marketers need to be thinking about if they want to stay relevant. Now, what's the state of play? Where are we in 2026? Let's start with the numbers because they matter. India's social commerce market is estimated at $20 to $25 billion in 2026, projected to cross $100 billion before the decade is out. Short form video ad spend in India grew over 40% year on year in 2025. Over 80% of Gen Z consumers in India say they discover products through social media, not search, not TV, not a store. The Indian creator economy is expected to cross 3,500 crore by 2027. Now, those are big numbers, but I want to be honest with you. Social commerce in India is still in its adolescence. We've had the growth spurts, we've had the hype cycles, but we haven't quite hit full maturity yet. That's actually the interesting part. China cracked live commerce years ago. Platforms like Taobao Live and Douyin have billions of dollars flowing through them, with hosts selling products in real time and purchases happening without leaving the app. That model hasn't fully landed in India yet. We'll talk about why in a bit. What has happened in India is the creator to commerce pipeline becoming real and measurable. And that's where the action is. Think about what Boat did. In a category, consumer electronics, that traditionally ran on specs, retail shelf presence, and celebrity endorsements, Boat built almost entirely through community and creators. Aman Gupta, the co-founder himself, became a public persona. Their marketing is creator native, and they didn't just grow market share. They defined what an Indian D2C electronics brand could look like. Now look at Mamaearth. Before they went public, back when they were just a small D2C brand, they lived and died by influencer content. The entire go-to-market was built around creators reviewing their products. Toxin-free formulas reviewed by mommy bloggers, skincare routines by lifestyle creators. It worked because the content felt like a recommendation and not an ad. And then you have Sugar Cosmetics, where Vinita Singh is herself the creator. She's on Shark Tank, she's posting reels, she's doing Q&As. She is the brand in many ways, the founder as creator. That's a very 24 to 26 phenomenon. And that's why the reel is the new storefront. I want you to think about what a reel actually is from a commercial standpoint. It's not an ad, it's not a catalog. It's a micro experience. In 15 to 60 seconds, a creator establishes context, demonstrates a product, makes you feel something, and gives you a reason to act. That's the entire funnel. Awareness, consideration, intent compressed into one piece of content. And it works because of one thing: trust. There's a phrase I've been using a lot lately. Trust is transferred, not manufactured. When a creator recommends your product, they're not just showing it off. They're lending you their relationship with their audience. And that relationship has been built over years of authentic content. Now, here's where personalization comes in. And this is where it gets really interesting. Personalization in social commerce isn't just about serving the right ad to the right person. It's about serving the right story through the right voice at the right moment. Instagram's algorithm does some of this heavy lifting. It knows you've been watching skincare reels, so it pushes more skincare content. But the brand's job is to make sure that when their content lands on your screen through a creator, through a paid reel, through a story, it feels native to where you are in your buying journey. Let me give you a real example. Nykaa has been investing heavily in personalized content experiences. Their app surfaces recommendations based on your skin type inputs, your past purchases, your browsing behavior. But more importantly, they've been pairing their data with creator selection. So if you're a woman in her 40s who's been looking at anti-aging products, the content you see from Nykaa creators on your feed is not the same as what a 22-year-old college student sees. Same brand, very different story. That's smart personalization. It's not just targeting, it's narrative personalization. Myntra's M Live is another one to watch. They've been experimenting with live shopping events featuring creators and celebrities. Masaba Gupta, Ritik Roshan's line HRX, various influencers doing real-time try-ons. The watch time goes up. The conversion rate in those live sessions, when done right, is significantly higher than static product pages. Because you're watching a real person make a real decision in real time. And as far as the creator economy, it's more complex than it looks. Let me address something that I hear from brand side clients all the time. Just give it to a big influencer. More followers, more reach, more sales. That thinking is clearly outdated. In some cases, it's actually counterproductive. The creator economy in India in 2026 has layers. And understanding those layers is the difference between a campaign that converts and one that just gets impressions. Now, mega influencers, people with 10 plus million followers, give you reach and association. They're great for brand awareness, but their engagement rate is often lower because their audience is so broad. And frankly, their audiences know they're getting paid. Mid-tier creators, think around 500k to 5 million followers, are often where the sweet spot is. They have genuine communities, their audiences trust them, and they're still accessible enough that the creator actually engages with comments, responds to DMs, and feels like a real person rather than a media property. And then there are the micro and nano creators, under 100k, sometimes under 10k, who have extraordinarily high trust within niche communities. A creator with 8,000 followers who exclusively covers organic farming in Maharashtra has more influence over that specific audience than Ranveer Allahabadiya does over the same audience. That is why we are seeing brands like Mamaearth and Wow Skin Science essentially run armies of micro creators. Not one big shoot, 100 small, authentic conversations scaled. Now, here's the tricky part. Creators know their value, and the best ones are very protective of their audience relationship. They don't want to sell every product that pays them. Because the moment their audience feels like every post is an ad, that trust, the very thing that makes them valuable, starts to erode. So there's a negotiation that happens. A good creator wants to genuinely believe in the product. They want creative freedom to integrate it naturally. They don't want a script handed to them. They want a brief. Brands that understand this get better content and better results. Brands that treat creators like a media placement, here's the message, here are the talking points, here's what you must say, often end up with stiff, lifeless content that their audiences scroll past. There's a creator I know, and I won't name them, who has a very engaged audience in the fitness space. They've turned down 3 brand deals in the last year because the brief was too controlling. And yet they've done 4 deals where they were given creative freedom and produced content that genuinely comforted. That correlation is real. Now, talking about the UGCI wave, which is the user-generated creator integration. Now, something else that's happening right now, I think it's underreported. The link between user-generated content and creator content is blurring. Brands like Bewakoof have built their entire marketing model around this. They curate customer content, they run contests, they make their buyers the creators, and then they amplify the best of it. The result is content that feels completely real because it is real. A real customer wearing the product, talking about it in their own language. Zomato does this masterfully as well. Most of their social media content isn't produced. It's curated or user inspired. They engage with tweets and comments. They turn customer movements into content. That's a brand operating like a newsroom, which, by the way, is something I've believed in for years. There's also this thing of AI personalization at scale, and the question, therefore, that we need to ask. Now, I can't talk about personalization in 2026 without addressing the elephant in the room, which is AI. AI is fundamentally changing what's possible in video commerce, and I want to separate the hype from what's actually happening. Brands can now take one base creative and generate multiple variants, different voiceovers, different text overlays, different end frames, different product highlights, and test them against different audience segments at scale. What used to require a full production team and a week of work now happens in hours. Now, platforms like Instagram, YouTube, Moj, Josh are using AI to predict not just who wants to see your content, but when they are most likely to act. The serve at the moment of receptivity problem is being solved. And for brands, that's a significant leap. Now, AI-generated creator content, and this one's complex. There are brands now deploying AI avatars and synthetic influencers. Some are entirely virtual, and there's a question every brand needs to answer for itself. Is this right for us? Because the entire premise of creator-led commerce is human trust. If your audience finds out that they've been watching a synthetic influencer and they feel deceived, you haven't just lost a campaign, you've pretty much lost credibility. That said, there are use cases where AI generated content works well. Training and informational content, category demonstrations, multilingual versioning for regional markets, where you take one creator's video and produce regionally relevant versions in Tamil, Bengali, Marathi, Bhojpuri. That's genuinely powerful. Now, here's something that doesn't get talked about enough. The more personalized your content becomes, the more it can feel creepy. We've all had that experience. You mentioned something to a friend or searched for it once, and suddenly every reel is about it. That's not personalization, that's surveillance. And consumers are increasingly aware of it, especially younger consumers. So the best brands are learning to personalize on context and intent, not just on data. Meaning, if I'm watching cooking content, serve me kitchenware. Don't serve me the thing I searched for at 2 a.m. and then felt weird about. Contextual relevance is better than behavioral stalking. Platforms are responding to this. Meta's AI-driven content recommendations have moved significantly towards interest graph personalization rather than pure behavior tracking. Partly because of privacy regulations, partly because it actually works better for long-term engagement. If there's one chapter of global social commerce that India hasn't written yet, it's live commerce. In China, live commerce is not a novelty, it's infrastructure. Taobao Live, Douyin, JD.com, billions of dollars a year flow through real-time video shopping. A host picks up a product, demos it, answers questions from viewers, and people buy in real time. The numbers are staggering. India hasn't cracked this. We've had attempts. Flipkart had its live commerce feature. Meesho has experimented with it. Nykaa's tried it. Myntra M Live is the most consistent attempt, but we still haven't had a moment where live commerce went mainstream for Indian consumers the way short form content has. A few reasons, one of which is we are a low patience, high scroll market. Indian consumers on social media are dopamine trained by short form content. Sitting through a 30-minute live shopping session requires a behavioral shift that hasn't quite happened. In China, live commerce grew alongside the habit. In India, short form content captured attention first. Second reason is the discovery to purchase gap is still real. Most Indian consumers discover on Instagram or YouTube, but then open a different app to actually buy. The buy without leaving the app behavior is not yet normalized. Instagram shopping, YouTube shopping, WhatsApp commerce, all of these are getting better, but the frictionless end-to-end is not there yet. Third is trust for online transactions, especially for new to internet users, is still evolving. A significant portion of India's next 200 million internet users are just getting comfortable with mobile payments. For them, adding live commerce to that journey is a step too far, too soon. But, and this is important, it's coming. 5G rollout, UPI evolution, platform investment in native checkout experiences are all tailwinds. I'd give it 2 to 3 years before live commerce in India hits its inflection point. When it does, the brands that have been building creator relationships and content infrastructure will be ahead of the curve. So what should brands actually do? Alright, I know some of you watching this are marketeers or brand owners or agency people. So let me get practical. What does all of this mean for you right now? A media buy is transactional. A creator partnership should be relational. The brands getting the best results are the ones building long-term relationship with creators, not one-off posts for every campaign. Bring creators in early, let them understand the brand, give them products to actually use, and then let them create. Brands like Zomato, Blinkit, Swiggy, they don't think campaign by campaign. They think about content as an always-on engine. Blinkit's meme marketing is legendary now. They respond to news, trending topics, cultural moments in real time. That requires infrastructure, a team, a process, a culture of speed, not a campaign brief that takes 3 weeks to approve. Thirdly, regional is not optional. Hindi is not India. And yet in 2026, most brand social media content is still English dominant or Hindi dominant. The Tamil Nadu consumer, the Bengali consumer, the Marathi consumer, they exist. They buy and they respond far better to content that feels like it was made for them. YouTube in India has seen exponential growth in regional language channels. Creators like Dhruv Rathi are massive in Hindi, but look at what's happening in Telugu and Tamil channels with millions of subscribers doing commentary, lifestyle, comedy. Brands that can tap regional creators will unlock markets that mass market content is missing entirely. And more importantly, measure for what matters, not what easy. Vanity metrics like views, likes, reach are not your friend. They're easy to report, they're hard to defend when someone asks about ROI. Start measuring content attributed revenue, cost per acquisition from creator content, repeat purchase behavior from creator acquired customers, and brand sentiment shifts after creator campaigns. These are harder to track, but they're the ones that tell you what's actually working. Some brands are now using UTM parameters and creator specific discount codes, not just for tracking, but for incentive alignment. The creator earns more when sales go up. That changes the creator's behavior. They become invested, and that investment shows in the content quality. Prepare for the live commerce wave is what I would tell brands. Even if live commerce isn't mainstream in India yet, prepare for it now. Identify which creators on your roster are natural hosts, energetic, quick thinking, good at live interaction. Start small, do live Q&As about your product, build the habit with your audience. When the platform infrastructure catches up, you will be ready. Let me paint a picture of where I think this is going in the next 3 years. First, hyper-local creator networks will become a real media category, not just city level, neighborhood level. Building societies, gated communities, localities. There are already WhatsApp and Instagram communities at that level influencing purchase decisions. The brand that figures out how to activate at that level of granularity is going to have a massive advantage in categories like grocery, daily essentials, and home services. Secondly, the AI-assisted creation will democratize video commerce for small and mid-sized brands. Right now, a full creator campaign requires budgets. In 3 years, a small business owner in Indore or Coimbatore will have AI tools to create professional quality video content, target it precisely, and measure results without a full agency. The question for agencies, including those of us in this space, is what value do we bring in a world where production is cheap and distribution is algorithmic? The answer is strategy and storytelling, always. Third, authenticity will become a currency, not just a value. As AI-generated content floods every platform, the things that feel genuinely human will be worth more. Real creators, real testimonials, real behind the scenes. Brands that maintain that realness, even as they scale, will have brand equity that money can't buy. And fourth, WhatsApp commerce. I haven't talked about this enough in this video, but it deserves its own episode. WhatsApp is the most active platform in India, and commerce on WhatsApp, catalog browsing, ordering, payment, even creator style recommendations via WhatsApp channels is a frontier that's just beginning to explode seriously. Watch this space. In conclusion, here's the thing I keep coming back to. Social and video commerce isn't a channel strategy anymore. It's not a line item in your marketing budget under influencer marketing. It's becoming the default way of a new generation of Indian consumers discovering and buy things. The platform is the mall. The creator is the trusted friend who walks you through it. And personalization is the store that rearranges itself every time you walk in. Brands that adapt to this, that build creator relationships, invest in content infrastructure, embrace regional voices, and measure what actually matters, that look back in 2030 and say, we saw this coming. And the ones that are still waiting for social commerce to mature before we invest, well, the maturation doesn't wait for you to get ready. That's it for today's episode of Vishal's at Astra. If this made you think of, or if you disagree with something I said, tell me in the comment section below. I'll read them, I'll reply to them, and these conversations are worth having out loud. If you're new here, subscribe. We talk advertising, marketing, creativity, and the industry from the inside. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.